All right, folks, we are live. So I've been watching the. No, it is live once, and it looks like Gary and Cyndi are entering the green. What do you call that? The green room or the blue room?
You've called it the cellar. You've called it the blue room, the green room.
All right, so I'm muted. All right, so it looks like they're here. So, we diagnosed the problem from last week. So last week, if you recall, we had a guest in here come in and show us a snake at the end of last week's live. Well, in the midst of watching the snake, our guests from last week showed up, and Dawn from Hat Creek Homestead was absolutely right. It was a time issue. So. They assumed that it was Central Time, and so they showed up an hour late. And so they've been rescheduled, Mickelson Family Homestead, for 3 weeks from now. So we will have them back on. And so if there's anyone in here, I had someone back out 2 weeks from now. So if anyone would like to come on and kind of chat about their channel, I was trying to see if that might be something that white shouldered boar goats might be interested in. I don't know that we're going to get them. I don't know that we're going to get them on here, but that would be a good one. But tonight we're going to have Gary and Cyndi from Pathways Homestead. I've been following Pathways for probably about a year. Like most channels, obviously I can't watch every video, but a lot of times I'll watch some because I'll listen to them when I'm driving. I used to do a lot more driving than I do now. I'd listen to them on my way home. Well, obviously I can't comment because my wife has trained me that if she catches me commenting and driving, that she will probably break my phone and my fingers. So I can't do that. So I do a lot of listening. Now since I'm working at home, I'm doing a lot more listening and commenting. You'll notice that my commenting has picked up significantly in the last month. What's happened in the last week? So we were talking last week about our whole family was going over to Keepers of the Old Ways, which was a homesteading and prepping expo over in the Panhandle of Florida, halfway between like Tallahassee and Pensacola. And so we all went over there. We spent the weekend, or most of the weekend, I think 2 nights, at a friend of ours' house, another goat rancher over there, and also a frequent visitor on our live. So Michael Keener, I think he comes on here as M. Keener. He and his wife Jalen hosted us at their house for a couple of nights. The whole Robinson crew. So Lala and I were in the front yard in our RV, and Rick and his family of 3 children and Chelsea were all inside in the guest room. So it was fun.
With a heater.
Huh?
With a heater.
I didn't mind not having heater. I got down to 19 degrees in Florida. That's cold. I know that's not cold to many of the rest of you, but that is cold for Florida.
That's freezing cold for us. Unfortunately, I'll tell a real quick story to then elaborate on why. So Chelsea's uncle just passed away this morning. We've hung out with him a couple times. Chelsea, of course, has hung out with him a lot more than I have, but is from Minnesota. So is my father-in-law, and she's going to be going up and visiting family and doing kind of like I don't know if there's going to be a viewing or not, but she's going to be going up there, and they're driving. It'll be her mom, her dad, her sister, her kids, and then Chelsea. And as soon as she said that she was going to be driving up there, I immediately got worried. And so Chelsea went ahead and she looked up real quick on her phone how cold it was going to be, and the high for today the low for today was negative 26 degrees.
I can't even imagine that.
I know, and that's exactly what I told her. I said, I have no interest in that whatsoever. If it has a negative in front of it, Hell,
If it's got one digit, I'm not interested.
Yeah, anything below 30, I'm just like, not here. So I've started some comments. So we got Randy Smith in here. Did little Rick get some rest? He looked so tired on the last video.
Man, don't give him sympathy. You're going to make his head blow up.
There should be sympathy given, and I do appreciate the comment, Randy. Yes, I have gotten some. They have taken pity on me the last 2 days, I think. I came in one morning at 6, and then this morning was 7, and then tomorrow is 7. And those are all like at the institution, and so it's really just an 8-hour day unless I decide I want to stay longer, which...
They probably saw your last paycheck and said, you realize we paid this guy almost 70 hours on a pay period.
Yeah. So, but thank you for the comment. Michael Harris, man, it's good to see you in here, buddy. It's good to see you always.
Well, let me do so this last week we went over keepers of the Always Homestead.
I got one more, Dad. I got one more. I was just telling Michael Harris that I appreciate him coming in as always. And then My Alabama Farm Life, hello to you.
Hey, if you guys have not checked out Kathleen at My Alabama Farm Life, she started a series January 1st, I believe, and she is reading the entire Bible in 365 days. She has divided it up, and every single day since the beginning of the year, she has posted a reading, and they're usually about 13 to 15 minutes long, and I try to listen to that every single day. So if you have not checked out My Alabama Farm Life, go check out Kathleen, and you know, that is a really easy way to digest the entire Bible over the course of a year, basically 15 to 20 minutes per reading. And I must say that she's an exceptional reader. A lot of times people read things and it kind of it doesn't sound good. She's a really good reader. So Kathleen, keep it up. I'm enjoying that series a ton, and thank you for that. So let's see who is in here. Then we'll talk about this Keepers of the Old Ways. Then we're going to bring our guests in here, and I know that it's probably in the single digits where they're at. They're out in the plains of or in the mountains of Kansas, I guess. I didn't even know there was mountains in Kansas until I started going back and looking at your videos today. So we're going to talk about that. So Randy Smith was the first one in here tonight. We were chatting a little bit before we even got started. Southern Boy Prepper, how are you, sir? So he keeps threatening he's going to come over here and see us. And I'm like, the door is always open. You know, in fact, we got a visitor that's been on the calendar for 3 weeks coming this weekend, just to kind of check out the place. Jules Small Space Gardening, welcome, Jules. One of our collaboration partners, them, Boone Child and MB Heritage, each Wednesday night at 6:15. They start with some premieres. So this week we had MB Heritage at 6:15, came on and premiered their video on diagnosing calcium problems in poultry. And then at 6:30, Jules or Jamie Slate come on, Jules Small Space Gardening, talking about the raising golden comet hens. That's a breed of chicken. And then at 6:45, Boone Child gave us kind of an update on her Arrow Garden. It's a product that she had, I believe she got it for Christmas, if I recall correctly. And she's kind of updating how things are doing in that. And it's a little herb garden, and it's doing really exceptionally well. So it looks really, really good. So catch those 3 videos. And also with MB Heritage, Michael's got a great, I don't even know what you call it, program, kind of group that he has started called You Grow Food or Garden Gurus. YouGrowFood.com is the actual website. MB Heritage, if you can drop that link in here for You Grow Food, so that maybe you can pull some people over there. And it's basically a community with thousands of people around the world.
I didn't realize it was that big until they had said that during one of the live streams when we had them on as guests, and I was like,
Yeah,
wow,
all focused on gardening and growing your own food. And he's been, since we started collaborating with them in the last month and a half or so, he's done a lot on chickens. And I can tell you what, Michael and Bobby Jean, they know chickens, and it's pretty amazing to see the depth of knowledge that he has. So, all right, so down under fella, Brad from Australia, thank you, sir, for visiting with us tonight. We got Dawn from Hat Creek Homestead. Dawn nailed it last week regarding our guests, that it was a time zone issue. If you're coming in a little bit late, our guests showed up last week about 8:10, right in time if it was central time zone. So they're going to be on in 3 weeks. Rick from Twin Brook Acres, welcome, sir, welcome. Who else we got in here? We talked about Randy Smith, Pathways Three Creek Farms. That's my brother from another mother up in, I guess you would call that west central Georgia. They're like right near the Mississippi line. And then Michael Harris. Michael, I got to apologize for you, man. I sent you a text message this week after the Keepers of the Old Ways telling you that Lala and my video would be live on Friday. I lied to you. It's not going to be live on Friday because we found a problem with the video, and Rick is going to fix that on Saturday and have it reposted.
It's going to be even better because it's going to have all the mic problems fixed, and it's going to be very. We'll have a little bit more time to prepare. I wouldn't say a little bit more time to prepare, but if there might be something that she wants to add in that she didn't necessarily cover at the Keepers of the Old Way, Lala will be sitting down in front of the camera, hopefully Saturday or Sunday. It will be either Saturday or Sunday, and I'm going to put together a video that should, if I am able, it will be out Monday afternoon.
Yeah, we only got the first 45.
You'll want to bring a pen and a pencil in a piece of paper to that. And I'm going to also, it's still going to premiere. So we've kind of gotten, I wouldn't say we've gotten away from premiering, but we haven't been premiering as much. And so what I'm going to start doing is if it is a longer video like this one coming Monday, it will be a longer video than normal. Those I'm going to try to premiere, and it'll be premiered, and the person that will be in the comments watching from Lala Farm will be the one that actually put together the video. So in this case, it'll be Lala.
The problem that we had with it, Michael, was we didn't know it at the time. We only got the first 45 minutes. The last part where we talked about actually selecting your new goat, picking the goat out of many goats, we didn't get that part on video. So we're going to have to redo that part, and Rick's going to recompile it, and it'll be bigger, better, and badder than it would have been had it come out on Friday. So what else we got in here? Bigger, better, and badder.
Yeah.
Prepped for
batter being good. Batter and a good. Yeah.
Yeah. It's such a, it's not really a millennial term. What do you call your generation? Mine was the baby boomers. What do you call yours?
I'm not even going to refer to mine as anything. I think technically I am a millennial, but I don't
think you're a millennial.
I don't know.
All right. Prepped for Eternity Homestead, welcome. Good to see you in here. Mountain Maple Ranch. Hello, folks. Mad Acre Farms. Glad to have you in here. Grace and Fire. Welcome. My sister, Simply Jan Homestead. Go over there and watch Jan's her last video. I think it was recently. I'm just going to say that. One that I was able to catch today. And she's playing a guessing game. She's building a top secret, some kind of structure. And you got to guess what it is. And I think I nailed it, but she won't give me the answer. I guess in a future video, she will do that reveal. I think she's building a feed structure, but go over there, check out her video that her and Kevin are building a building, and try to figure out if you know what they're building.
So I got the answer. Anyone born in between 1981 and 1996 is considered a millennial.
All right. All
I
right.
just don't put myself in that crowd, honest to God.
I'm going to start calling you that.
Well, the people that I hang out with are old like you.
We are Right Family Homestead. Welcome. Who else? Brian's Lost Hills Homestead. Welcome. You know, that was one of your channel was one of them that I would often listen to when I was driving home from work. So you didn't get a whole lot of comments, but I've watched most of your videos, I think. The Tinker's wife, Patty. Go over and check out Patty. Show Patty some support. Patty is going through a pretty significant transition in her life in terms of moving from her homestead to more of an urban type of environment, and kind of watching that journey. You know, I almost want to shed a tear with her. It's been pretty emotional, and I can only imagine, Patty, what it has been for you in making that transition. So just know that your story means a lot to people, and watching your story means a lot. And you know, you got a whole bunch of people kind of pushing you and supporting you and thinking frequently of you. All right. Who else? That might be it, I think. Hold on. No, my cousin in here, Sheila Robinson. So, hi, my Southern family. So she is up there in the cold Western New York area. And we got my Panhandle family, the Dusty Goat Homestead in here. Just kidding. They're kind of like family. We've gotten pretty close to the Wallaces over the last year, and we spent the weekend with them over there this last weekend. They were also speakers at Keepers of the Old Ways. Coupon Gail. Gail, I did a shout out for you last week. Gail's one of those channels. I think Gail's going to be. She's going to be big in the next few years, because she's really kind of focused her channel down, and you know, super proud of what Gail's doing on her channel with coupons. Stephanie McKee, aka Farm Girl, welcome. Boy, we got a bunch of folks in here. Who else? So Michael Harris has approved of the plan. Yeah. So that's who I was worried about.
I know we don't want to miss anybody, but you ready to bring in Gary and Cyndi?
In just a second. I told them it would be sometime between like quarter and 20 after. I just want to go over this Keepers of the Old Ways really quick. So this last weekend we went to the Keepers of the Old Ways, and all that it was is a 2-day conference. Tons and tons of speakers. About every hour of the day, they had between, I would say, 6 and 8 speakers on various topics. Everything from cooking on an open campfire with cast iron to making malls out of wood, which my grandson absolutely had a blast with, to getting started with goats, which is what Lala and I talked about. So several of the channels that we that we follow regularly, comment with, and good friends of ours were also there. Off Grid with Doug and Stacy. David the Good, which is a really great gardening channel, really specific to growing in Florida, but the principles, you know, as many of the Garden Guru principles can be applied anywhere. In fact, he used to live in the Caribbean, and now he's living in, I guess it would be very extreme southern Alabama, near the Florida-Alabama line. Floribama Homestead, also another southern Alabama channel. Dusty Goat Homestead, I think they're in here now. Hidden Oaks Homestead, that's another Panhandle channel. And yesterday, the coordinator for Keepers of the Old Ways sent out a post on their Facebook page. So if you are interested in attending the 2023 Keepers of the Old Ways, or if you've got a certain unique skill that you think that you would like to present to people, Jessica is looking for ideas on speakers and content, and you can comment on that on that Facebook page, and she will get back with you if it's something that she would like to integrate. But right now, she's in the process of planning next year's Keeper of the Old Ways 2023 conference. So it was really cold, but I think it was a successful event overall. So I just wanted to kind of extend that invitation to everybody on here just because she asked me to. So without further ado, we will bring in our guests for tonight, which is Cyndi and Gary from Pathways Homestead.
Well, howdy, folks.
Uh-oh.
Maybe.
Uh-oh.
I know it's been dropping. I don't know what the cause of that is. Yeah, it keeps dropping, and then
Narrowway Farm, welcome. Are you back?
Hey, how are you all? Can you hear it?
Hello. I don't know if you guys can hear us. We
got you.
Can't hear anything.
You guys can't hear us?
No, I hear you. All right. So try to fix them, Ricky. Can you do that without being?
I will attempt.
Okay. So Heirloom Permaculture and Preparedness. Hey, I know them. Yeah, they are good folks. They're out in Kansas, and I've watched them for the better part of a year. And I think they've only been on YouTube. Let me find that comment there. On YouTube for a little over a year. And I admire their channel because a lot of what Cyndi does, I mean, they are very homestead oriented. So very into self-sufficiency, very into doing things like some of the videos, as you know, I usually go through within a few days of going live, and I look at a lot of the older videos, not necessarily the newer ones, but a lot of the older ones. And I've done that, and I really found some things that Cyndi's making that, on a regular basis, it sounds like that's really, really cool, and things that don't appear to be all that difficult, such as butter, such as buttermilk, such as making her own yogurt. Can you hear us, Cyndi and Gary?
I got the wrong.
Can you hear us, guys?
Free Handly Made, so Nisi, welcome. I saw you in here. What else we got?
Dad, do we have a phone number for them or no?
I don't have a phone number.
All right.
I heard that Gary recently turned 70. Well, I didn't know that. What I heard is that Gary recently had a birthday. I could not vouch for the age. That's on the agenda, is to wish Gary a happy birthday. And apparently, I was on can you guys hear us now? I was on one of the Pathways lives fairly recently, and what I learned that Gary and myself have really a lot in common, a lot of common or similar viewpoints.
That Gary recently turned 70.
Can you guys hear us?
Dawn at Heirloom.
Can you guys hear us? Can you hear us?
Okay. I can't hear you guys. I hope you guys hear us.
No. We hear some noises that sound like an 80s video game.
Okay, I am going to post a phone number in the private chat. I'm just going to have you guys call in. We're probably not going to be able to do video. Can they hear us?
What he said.
I
see John that he turned 70.
One second. Hold on. Think on the fly.
Huh?
Nothing. Keep talking.
So Gary, for his birthday dinner, Cyndi made him an oatmeal cake. And I swear I love oatmeal cookies. It's one of my favorite kinds of cookies. And this looked like a gigantic cookie, but in cake form. It was like that thick and like this big. And it's like my mouth is watering watching him eat this thing. And I'm like, I was so envious over this gigantic monster size oatmeal cookie. Dawn's saying we have a bad storm here. So Dawn's going to be like she's going to be like our reporter in the field she's going to be like our reporter in the field for being able to diagnose problems with people coming on the live. Hey, Tina Ladybug, welcome. Glad to see you in here tonight. And then she made, folks that have been following us for a while recalls the meatloaf wars that we did last year. And that's what Gary got for his main dish was meatloaf. And I'm like, I was envious of that too. So he got a heck of a meal, one that I would be jonesing for. So hopefully Rick can get this. Huh?
So keep talking.
Are you communicating with him? All right. So some of this keeper the old ways, let me go back to that. So, this was held at a small, what's called a pioneer settlement over in Blountstown, Florida, which is again halfway between Pensacola and Tallahassee. And what they've done is they've taken all of these really old historical buildings, in some cases 150, 200 years old, and they have had those buildings donated to the pioneer settlement. So over time, they have closed on these buildings, deconstructed them, taken them to the pioneer settlement, and then reconstructed them. And that's where this event was held. And it was really kind of an incredible location to have this kind of event, because you're basically teaching activities, teaching functions, teaching skills that harken back to doing things much more simply. I mean, they had a fully functioning blacksmith shop there, and the fully functioning looking at email. They have a fully functioning blacksmith shop there, and then they had, I guess, and I didn't know this, there is a club throughout Florida in most major cities. The fellow that I was talking to told me that has blacksmith clubs. So if you wanted to learn how to smith within the area where you live in Florida, and I would imagine that this is like this in most parts of the country, that you could probably join this club. According to this fellow, you could join the club and kind of learn how to smith, and they rotate the membership around, so you go to different people's places to learn how to blacksmith. And it was just really cool. There, some of the speakers that were there. David the Good is a gardener that's used to doing gardening in kind of tropical climates and Florida-based climates. And that's someone that I follow gardening wise on YouTube, as well as I've purchased his books, because it's more focused on deep South gardening, if you will. In fact, I think Rick talked last week about when we cleaned up the garden bed. He kind of talked about the Everglades tomato, and the Everglades tomato. I heard about that from him, and essentially it is a native tomato from Florida that essentially grows wild, and it is seeds itself. So although technically it's an annual, since it self-seeds itself by dropping so much fruit on the ground, that it kind of acts as a perennial and self-seeds itself each subsequent year. And So we've got some of those seeds. Those are going in the garden. We've got some of those seeds on order, and hopefully we can get those in the ground this week and start growing those. So there's just been a lot happening. We finished up our kidding season last week. Now we're on literally hour to hour kid watch for our Nigerian dwarfs. And the Nigerian dwarfs, I think Lala, one of them has already lost her mucus plug, so she's literally in pre-labor, and so we're kind of on guard for that now. So we should be having a lot more Nigerians, Nigerian dwarf kids on the ground over the next 2 weeks. Let me look at some of the comments here. Patty says there's a guy on the Oregon coast who teaches blacksmithing and has a group going now. You know, I have watched lots of blacksmithing channels online. Down Under Farm and Forage, I'm not sure if Darren is in here, but you know, that is a channel that I watch, you know, from time to time. There's 2 or 3 channels on YouTube that I will follow, but that is something that long term I would love to learn that craft. I think that would be a really, really cool thing to watch or to learn. Rick's still working on getting Pathways in here. He's emailed them. Randy Smith says, good thing you're here tonight, little Rick, and old Rick would be lost like I would be. Yeah, I'm not the technical person. If he wasn't here, we would just chalk up having no guest for 2 weeks, because I would not have a clue how to fix that, other than if you can't call in and get on, then I'm not going to be able to help you. Mulberry Branch Farm, welcome. Hi Rick, Lala, deep into goat midwifery still, huh? Making me jealous waiting for March. You know, she is.
Give me about another 2 minutes.
Okay, she is in it, elbows deep. And you know what I mean by that. So, you know, she's waiting for her Nigerians to start delivering. And honestly, this will be the first year. This is the first year that we've had Nigerian dwarfs. We've always had Kikos and Boers up to this point, and but we could not meet the demand that we were having for people wanting pets versus a goat to eat. You know, that's we sell all the Kikos that we get, but but we had a lot of unmet need that we could have met by just selling also Nigerian dwarfs. So that's why we had the opportunity to purchase a herd from another farm up in southeast Georgia that was getting out of Nigerian dwarfs. So we purchased, I think she got 4 or 5 Nigerian dwarf does, $2 or $3, and we have since acquired, I think, 3 more hand-picked does. So that's what we learned, you know, when we first got into goats. Picking them means the world. How do you pick? What are you looking for? What are the traits and characteristics? And Ashley over at Mulberry Branch Farm, if you haven't checked them out, Ashley is like the Nigerian dwarf guru. You know, Lala now watches Mulberry Branch pretty regularly, so she got my my joke elbow deep. I definitely understand that. So.
All right, so I got it figured out for the most part. I got them on the phone,
Okay.
So we're gonna have to do it like this. So they're in the process. I'm gonna bring them in. Can you guys hear me? Can everybody else? Can you hear them, Dad?
I can hardly hear him. The audio is really low.
All right, you guys might have to speak just a little bit louder.
Okay, we'll do our best.
Can you hear him now, Dad?
It's still really, really low.
This is as best as I can do. So they are in a winter storm right now, and so a lot of their audio is not working, and they're also, for some reason, their video keeps cutting in and out. But how are you guys doing tonight? Great. Yeah.
So Gary, I heard you're 70 years old.
Yeah, that's what I've been told.
Yeah, you don't look 70.
Well, I was born in the 70s. Does that count?
All right, I can hardly hear that. I mean, it's very, very muffled. There, you know, can you put them up next to your mic?
It doesn't work like that.
Okay.
I'm going to try one more thing, but that's all I can try.
Okay. Well, I can hardly hear them. Sorry, folks. Blame those.
All right, let's go ahead and try that. Go ahead and can you guys go ahead and talk for us?
Sound check.
Yeah. Can you hear us now?
There you go. That's better.
Good.
That's better.
Yeah, I
That was better.
I'm trying
Those darn. So we won't have these problems in the summertime. All those winter storms. we don't have to deal with those winter storms. Well, hopefully we can. My chair just so. Well, folks,
let's go ahead and try it now.
all right. Can you hear us any better?
I got you.
All right. You can hear me now?
I've got you. So this is Cyndi and Gary from Pathways Homestead. So kind of do your 10-second or your 30-second introduction, guys.
Well, we live in the Kansas Flint Hills. We homestead. We kind of live on our own hook. I am basically self-employed. I day work ranches and do a little handyman work. And my wife does a lot of work here on the homestead. We raise beef cattle, pigs, chickens, and grow 80% of our own food, and we also sell to customers. And that's who we are.
Very cool. So, that's one of the questions I had for you. I saw that you raise beef cattle. How many head do you have?
That's a good question.
A lot then.
Not really. So we live on 11 acres that we bought and actually have paid off. We bought the fairground and we moved a trailer house in here that I paid cash for. And we built everything kind of from scratch and from out of our pocket. And so on that place we have 6 heads. But I partner with a guy that we bought down cattle, and I don't remember how many I paid for in that partnership.
Okay. So do you raise the cattle for your own consumption, or do you raise it to sell to other people, or do you introduce it to processors, or what do you do with it?
Yeah, all of those. We do raise some that we eat. We sell some to customers, but most of our backgrounding cattle, we're buying calves that are 300 pounds, and we're raising them till they're 600 pounds. And we've got them through the weaning stage, and we've got them healthy, and we've got them eating from bunks good. And they're at 600 pounds is kind of where a lot of feedlot operations or pasturing operations, that's the size they like to buy. So we're selling them through the auction system back to those operations. So we're doing all 3.
Okay. See, that's one thing that we have not done yet is to sell directly to consumers on the hoof. We have had folks that told us they were interested in purchasing, after we took it to the processor. Then they would basically purchase a live animal. We take it to the processor, and we've had lots of people kind of approach us regarding that kind of arrangement, but once they see what we're asking for per pound for goat, they kind of say, I'm not interested in that, because they think they can get it cheaper elsewhere. But kind of right now, good luck with that because meat of any type is crazy expensive right now.
Yeah, we customers. Hello?
You there, Rick? Yeah, okay.
We still got you.
Okay. We sell beef, pork, and chicken directly to customers. We also sell dairy from our cow that we milk, and we sell eggs, and we usually sell produce also directly to customers through a couple of different avenues. This last year, our place got gifted with herbicide, and so there wasn't much gardening here.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Cindy has about 20,000 square feet of growing space that she used for gardening.
Was it from overspray from an adjacent field, or what happened?
Yeah, the fence across the road, that's the one I work in, it was being sprayed for Teresa. The applicator was aerial spray. The applicator picked a bad day.
See, white shoulder boar goats in Farmstead, they say I traded pork for hamburger last week. And well, that's the way to do it, Shannon, is kind of, if you can kind of enter into a bartering arrangement with folks, that's a great way to do it. Because where we get our meat processed, you can't, they label everything. This is not for, we can't sell it. So we can sell a live animal, but we can't sell, you can sell a live animal, take it to the processor and deliver it to the consumer, but you cannot, you can't sell them the meat once it's processed because it's not a USDA approved, it's a state of Florida approved processor, not a USDA approved processor. So I hear you had a birthday recently, Gary.
Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, I was, you guys titled that, oatmeal cake and meatloaf, and it's like as soon as I read that title, my mouth started watering because those are like watching you eat that oatmeal cake was like watching you eat. My favorite cookie is an oatmeal cookie. And it was like watching you eat this gigantic sheet cake of oatmeal cookie. And my mouth was watering. I was very envious.
My grandfather from up northern New York is actually on here, Edward George.
So so Ed George is from Western New York. That is Lala's father. And that's right where I grew up, is in that area, and why we never went back to Western New York, because they're having the weather that we avoided for 35 years. We tried to talk them into coming down here. Normally they come down in the fall, and so they'll probably be down here in the summertime. But welcome.
Yeah, we've got about a foot of snow on the ground right now here, and it's single digit temperature, and it's blowing about 35 miles an hour.
See, I just can't do that. Dawn from Hat Creek Homestead, as soon as she started listening to you, she said it's probably weather coming through. So last week she nailed it by saying that it was, our guest last week, showed up a little late, or showed up late. And Dawn says it's probably a time zone issue. And this week she's saying it's probably a weather related issue. She's like our live difficulty prognosticator. So we're gonna like give her a job. She's gonna do like the weather report. So I guess the groundhog in most regions of the country saw his shadow this morning, because I realized after we got up that it was Groundhog Day today. And Puxatawny Phil up in Pennsylvania saw his shadow, which, what's that, another 6 weeks of winter. I told Lala, I said, if I would have realized that today was Groundhog Day, we could have done like a ground goat day where we would go out and we would check one of our goats to see if they actually saw their shadow and then do a kind of a spoof on that. That would have been funny as heck, but I didn't think about it. Instead of Groundhog Day, it would have been Ground Goat Day. No pun intended. So one of the things that was, that I really enjoy about watching Pathways Homestead is some of the things that. Did you say something? I'm sorry. One of the things I really enjoy about watching Pathways Homestead is really kind of the back to the old ways cooking that Cyndi does, and some examples is she made butter, and that doesn't sound like. I don't know anybody that makes their own butter. Now, there's lots of YouTubers, lots of people online that, say they make butter and they do a video on making butter. But apparently, making butter and making yogurt and making cheese is kind of a regular part of kind of Cyndi's processes about what she makes to kind of feed her family. And that's, I think, what Gary was saying when they first came on, that they make or grow 80% of the food that they eat, which is just a really, really amazing thing to me. So, and I learned something, I think, Cyndi, in your butter making video. I had no idea that that's where buttermilk come from. Is that what buttermilk is?
Yes, but not what you get in the store. What you get in the store is cultured and made a whole lot different. So our butter, the butter made from our cream from our cow, instead of being that acidic, tangy taste for the buttermilk, the buttermilk is sweet, like almost like sweetened condensed milk, only it's thinner.
Really? Oh, all right. Because I was thinking I had no clue where buttermilk came from. Or see, my father-in-law, if he's still in here, if Ed George is still in here, I don't think he's going to be able to resist telling me where buttermilk came. He worked for over 30 years in a dairy up in Western New York. So if you've ever had hell of a good cheese or hell of a good dip in your life, chances are, or yogurt, or he made it up in a plant up in Western New York. And so he knows all about how dairy products are made. So he would be ashamed of me if I told him I didn't know where buttermilk came from.
It doesn't last around here. I like to make biscuits with it, but Gary really, really likes it, so he drinks it really quickly.
And then I was watching another one of your videos where you made homemade yogurt. What do you use that for? Because it looks like you make a lot of it.
Well, I also make cream cheese out of the yogurt.
Okay.
In process, it takes about a week to make the cream cheese. So I've got it in process right now.
Do you have a video on making cream cheese? I didn't see that.
I'm making a video right now.
Oh, all right. Sheila Robinson. Sheila Robinson, yes, it was Crowley back then. I think it's Hood now. Is where he worked for many, 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 many years. And then you also made mozzarella cheese, which was a lot easier than I would have ever imagined making.
Yeah, that is the primary cheese that I make, is mozzarella.
How often? You said your family loves that. How fast do they go through that?
If I have the time to make it, because I do work outside the home as well on a part-time job, but they'll eat 2 to 3 pounds a week. I should say we, and there are 3 of us in the home.
I eat a lot of cheese. I don't think I could eat 2-3 pounds a week though. I eat a lot of cheese. That's why I'm asking these questions, because that might be something that I try to get into, but I don't. it would be very, very difficult for me to get raw milk. Can you make a lot of the products that you make from pasteurized milk, or does it have to be raw milk?
No, you can make the mozzarella from, so the mozzarella and the yogurt can be made from pasteurized milk that you get in the store. The butter, since the milk is homogenized, you cannot make the butter.
But you could use like a heavy cream to make butter, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So looks like you might have a fan here. So says where's that? Right Family Homestead says yogurt is new to me. I need to learn. Well, that's exactly what I said when I watched that video. I'm like, she's nailing this. I mean, she is, Cyndi is not new to making this yogurt. That's obvious. So it's not like, one of the things that kind of agitates me when I watch a lot of YouTube videos is that everyone on YouTube is an expert. And, so they do a process, they do a project, and all of a sudden, boom, they do a video on it, and they're the authority on it. Well, you can tell that this is not Cyndi's first rodeo, because she goes through this like she's done this 1,000 times, and it turned out really, really good.
Yes, I make a gallon of yogurt every 2 weeks.
Holy mackerel!
And we use that. Really loves yogurt smoothies. So he uses quite a bit of yogurt in the morning and for a snack. So we love having our Jersey cow because, I'm only milking 3 evenings a week with pasture. And so I'm getting 3 to 5 gallons of milk a week and just from milking 3 nights a week. So that's a lot of milk, and you got to do something with it.
Right. Wow. So
I'm not talking a lot simply because I'm sure that I have my volume literally turned all the way up, so I'm probably louder than I normally am. No, me and Chelsea are planning on actually milking once our Nigerian dwarfs give birth, and then once they get weaned, me and Chelsea are actually going to end up milking one of the goats. We have not quite decided yet. We're probably just going to pick the one with the teats that are the highest off the ground and the ones that have the best structure. And we'll probably end up milking those once in the morning. Chelsea will do the morning, and I'll grab the evening shift, and hopefully start making some goat milk soap. So I think that'll be pretty cool.
You'll like it. You can also make fresh cheese, which I have a farmer cheese video that you can make out of the goat milk. You
got fresh what? Fresh cheese?
You can make fresh cheese out of the goat milk.
Yep.
It's called farmer cheese. It's really, really good. Made a lot of that. But I'll advise you to get a La Mancha or preferably a Nubian goat.
Okay. Well, we have a Nubian. Nubian, but the thing with the Nubian is she is already sold. I'm pretty sure she's already sold. She's just kind of hanging out at our farm for the time being. But yeah, my thing with the Nigerian is they're only like inches off the ground. So it's like, you have to get them elevated in the air before you can even milk. So you're going to have to end up investing in either purchasing a milking stand or building one. So
yeah, and it's not real hard to build one. I've built a few wooden ones for customers that I think will take me about 3.5 hours, 4 hours to build a milking stand.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen some really well built ones, and I've seen some not so well built ones, but they're not really tough to build. I mean, that would be a pretty easy project to do in a few hours.
Plus, I don't know if anybody's seen Richmont Fast Times at Richmont High, but my dad has an awesome set of tools.
That's my thing, though. I mean, you guys don't see a lot of that because we do a lot of the homesteading thing, but I think I've said this in the past. I mean, one of the ways that I will likely be pivoting at least my role in this channel over the next year is doing more of what I really enjoy, which is a lot of building. I do a lot of construction stuff now, but it's always farm projects. So whenever something needs to be built, Lala pulls me in, and that's what my role is. But I do a lot of woodworking, and I've got a bang up shop. I'm not able to spend as much time nearly in there as I would like to. And so that's one thing I would like to kind of, do more on the channel of kind of, hobbyist type things, doing some wood turning and actually furniture building. And that's the kind of stuff that I really, really enjoy doing.
Yeah, you're right. Keener, if you build it, I could build it too.
So what else I got in here for notes? So we talked about cattle ranching. So Gary, you said that you kind of do, that you do a lot of handyman work, and that was really, really obvious in watching, one of the videos that you did on your water system. So this is an older video that you did back in May of 19, and a lot of what you did in that, was that when you first got your homestead set up, or were you first building, kind of, getting things set up? How did that video come about? What was the reason?
Well, first moved here, I just set up the tank and a pump system, and I hauled water, and it took me about a year and a half to actually get the water line laid. I had to go through the permit system to go under the highway. It took me a while. But that's just the system I built to make this work so that we could have water here and sufficient. And something I figured out, I've got friends, mentors that are way smarter than me, that I bounce ideas off of, ask for formulas and figure measurements and stuff like that. And I got some advice and I built that.
Yeah. Because a lot of what you were doing, it looks like at first there was some gravity feed stuff, but it was interesting that you said that you were responsible as the end user for water pressure and all of that stuff. And I thought that was intriguing. So you guys must be like way outside of a municipality. Is that correct?
Well, yes, we live in the second largest county in Kansas, and there's less than 5,000 people here.
Okay.
So everywhere in my county is way outside of a municipality. But we actually are in between two towns that are 10 miles apart. But one town is like 150 people, and one town is like 700 people.
Right.
So there's a water line that goes between the two towns. And we were able to get a meter off of that water line, and it goes from the lake to one of the towns. But we're at a high point in the water line, so there's not any pressure on it. So that's why I have to provide the pressure myself.
Okay. So so Randy Smith is asking if we can reschedule you guys sometime for this summer so that it's better audio. Was that something you guys would be willing to do, is come back on maybe this summer?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that was interesting because it's like, when you're talking about that video, in part, you were talking about that you're responsible for the water volume, how much water you actually get, and what your pressure is that you're getting to the end users or the appliances, the faucets, things like that. And I thought that was interesting because if you tell the average human being in the United States, that you're responsible for getting your own volume of water and pressure of water to your home, they would look at you like you're from another planet. Like, you can't, I can't do that. You've got to provide me those services. And, it's the same thing with us. I mean, we pump, the only thing we bring electric on, and then we pump our water comes from 800 foot in the ground. And I was over at when we were over at Mike Keener's this last weekend, they asked me if I wanted a soda or whatever. I said, no, I just drink ice water. That's really all I drink, that and unsweet tea. And so I went over and I got some. I knew he was on well water, and I'm like, holy mackerel, this is some of the best tasting water I've ever tasted. It's better than my water, and I got really good well water because it's literally coming directly out of the Florida aquifer. So when it rains in Florida, it filters down through hundreds of feet of limestone, and that limestone, when you see on television on the national news, you'll see like what sinkhole? What?
Keener says broken tea.
That's not broken tea. That's I agree with Jalen, Michael. That's the only way to get tea. So you see on the national news a lot of times, you'll see these sinkholes throughout Florida. Well, what's happening is they're drawing so much water out of the aquifer so quickly for industrial purposes that it creates this space between the Florida aquifer and the bottom of the limestone bed that water has filtered through. And when that happens, there's nothing to support it, so the whole collapses in. And I told Michael he's got some really, really good water. He lives in an incredibly rural part of West Florida. And all right, so we didn't do our giveaway, Rick. We got to do our giveaway really quick. See, you didn't remind me.
I had a few other things on my mind, Dad.
You didn't remind me. All right, so we're gonna do our. So we're gonna take a couple more minutes and do a couple of giveaways. But I want to say goodbye to Pathways, to Cyndi and Gary. Thank you all for coming on. I apologize for the tech difficulties. Rick was able to kind of work through that the best we could. So I apologize for that, but I don't know that we could have done anything any differently. I think he did whatever he could.
But this was literally the last ditch effort, and I'm honestly, even though the audio is awful in comparison to usually what we can give the viewers, at least we got you in and got some information from you guys. So we do appreciate you guys being able to kind of work with us and getting you guys on tonight.
Nisi, I agree with you. That's the same position we're in. We pump our water from 800 foot. It goes into a compression tank, and then it's pumped with a whole nother pump into the house. So,
but most definitely, you guys be safe, and appreciate you guys, like I said, working with us. All right, have a good night.
Hey, by the way, if you're still on here, send me an email with your shirt size, color, and design, and I will get both of you a La La Farm T-shirt. Then do a kind of a video of that, and I will we'll get that shared out and hopefully drive some additional folks over there beyond this live. So if you have not checked out Pathways Homestead, go over and check out Pathways Homestead. They're in Kansas. Good people, and they're doing homesteading right. They're not just it's not just a thing that they're doing because they think it'll get people to watch them. So
that sound normal now?
Huh?
Do I sound normal now?
Kinda. You're a little bit. All right, first giveaway. Another tumbler this week. So we got another case of these in. So this is the navy blue with a white imprint on it. There's 22 people in here and declining. So number between 0 and 30. Go.
Randy Smith, he jumped on the bandwagon fast. He said 5 before you even said go.
Randy said he likes to play the game, and he doesn't care about winning. Keep going. Farmer Brad at 23. All right. Farmer Brad, if you can send me an email. Rick, can you drop our email? Paula couldn't make it today, apparently. Send me drop the email in there, lalafarm.com. Farmer Brad, if you can send me an email and with that email have your address, and I will get the tumbler out to you this week. Okay. Second giveaway this week is going to be a $25 Amazon gift card. All I need for this one is your email address. So there's still 23 people in here. This time I'm going to go between 0. Michael Marchone, welcome, sir. Glad you could make it. This time I'm going to go between 0 and 40. Go.
There we go. I was wondering where they were.
0 and 40.
Like Fugate Farm says 0.
See, they figured out my system. I like to go to the extremes sometime, and I realized that last week. Come on, 0 and 40.
Man, we're about to have to start doing process of elimination.
No, they'll get it. Fairview Family Farm. Fairview Family Farm, congratulations. You win a $25 Amazon gift card. It will be an electronic gift card. I will send it to you. I just need a valid email address. So if you can shoot us an email at the lala at thelalafarm.com, I will use that and get the gift certificate sent to you. It'll either be Thursday or Friday that will go out to you, and it's done by instant delivery. So, all right, folks, this has been a ton of fun. Let's see what our comment up here from Fugate Farm Yahtzee. So Pathways says, well,
sorry,
I missed it. Thank you all so much for having us. So sorry about the difficulties. I'm sure it's on our end due to the weather. We'll get it figured out. Hopefully we can get you back on in the summer, and then kind of give you the time that you're due. And then so next week we are going to have another. This one will be a fun one as well. Whiskey and Sunshine Off Grid. Our next week's guests, and that will be a blast. Hopefully weather does not, because they're truly off grid. All of their electric comes from a solar power array, and
might have to drive down to the McDonald's and get some Wi-Fi.
Some Wi-Fi? What is that?
Wi-Fi.
I don't know what that is.
Wi-Fi.
Oh, Wi-Fi. All right, folks. Thank you all for coming in. This was fun. I appreciate y'all taking an hour out of your week to come in and spend it with us, and very, very much appreciated. Blessings to all of you, and always remember, treat others as you would like to be treated. Lala Farm, out.
Night, guys.